Hey everybody, this is Josh from Boulder Voice Lessons. We're going to be talking a little bit about our vocal technique today and a little bit of the progression of what we're studying. I come from a teacher, multiple teachers, but I guess the teacher that resounded the most to me and that I am currently on the path is this incredible man, Franco Bertacci. And he has come from a long line of great singers, and along the way, one of them was pretty much Cornelius Reid. And Cornelius Reid is a prolific author, taught for over 60 years, and has some amazing books out there. One of them, The Free Voice, I don't know where it is a great book. And I was thinking about considering sort of an aural glossary of various terms. So, he talks, and we talk about the two registers being falsetto and chest voice registers. And, what is falsetto sounds? What are chest voice sounds? And what are the blending of those two registers? And there is a great resource online from Jonathan Yarrington, who wrote a dissertation for the degree of Doctoral of Musical Arts from the University of North Texas in 2014. And I found his dissertation online. I've never met Dr. Yarrington, but I'd love to someday. And the dissertation comes from the Cornelius Reid archives, which I believe are in Chicago, and they are not released on YouTube. They are not available to the general public unless you go to this library, which honestly I don't even know which library it is, but I think it's in Chicago. And anyway, Dr. Yarrington has transcribed many of the exercises that Cornelius Reid used, or at least the exercises from specific lessons. So there's some gems in there, and this is one that I think they all come from Cornelius Reid, and they all come from his general concepts and philosophies of voice building. So this is something that we do here, that I do here, that we do here at Boulder Voice Lessons, is voice building. And so I'm just going to start with this, and we're going to just talk about some of the differences between, the sort of an aural glossary, right? So we start off with falsetto. And falsetto can be defined as a extremely breathy tone. You can only hold it for 2 or 3 seconds at the most, and you can't decrescendo on it. It's very interesting. You cannot lower in volume on it, and it generally sounds bad. I think, as Reid says, it's aesthetically unpleasing. Let's just start with the falsetto here. Here we go. It's on a ooh, but we're gonna put an H in front of it. We'll start piano. Ooh, right? So let's count. Ooh. Okay, and then we're just gonna go up. Now, and we go up by half steps. And this is a technique that we do here in the vocal studio here at Boulder Voice Lessons. And sometimes it's difficult to learn how to sing, on a video. Like, I can't hear if you're doing it incorrectly. I can't give you any concepts about whether or not it's good or bad. So it's really important to schedule a lesson, if you want to know if you're doing it correctly. But what it's not, all right? So what this specific exercise, this very falsetto sound, ooh, right, there's the definition. Hold it 2 or 3 seconds because there's so much air going out. You can't decrescendo on it, and it sounds bad. So what it's not is this. Right, so did you hear how there's a lot more core in the sound? There's more chord closure there. So what we want to do is just get a lot more breath in there, and sometimes the H helps a lot. Ooh, right? Another thing is that we want to breathe in deeply here. Right? Sometimes if people have a little bit too much core in the sound, we do a sort of a exhale like this. Right? Sometimes that allows more air to come through the sound. Ooh, and then we go up, 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 all the way to sort of B flat here. And then we come into a second sound here. We're going to go woo. Now, was that falsetto or was that sort of a head voice? Let's call that head voice. So when the chest voice comes in and we get a little bit of chord closure and the tone gets a little edgier, per se, or less breathy, then it becomes, let's call it a head voice. Ooh. Right, so we're going to do that. And this exercise we want very connected, very slidey, very slurry. Ooh. Keep it round, keep it round, keep it dark. So here's another concept. Sometimes I hear, now these are extreme examples. I'm not making fun of anybody, but so you heard that. That's a little tight, right? Ooh. Maybe not everybody makes that sound, but when we breathe in, there's a huge open space in the throat. Let's call it the pharynx, right? All the tones that we sing come from the larynx, which are then further resonated by the pharyngeal areas, the resonators in the pharynx in the throat. And when we breathe in, generally we can access a lot of that open-throated sound. So when we sing out, we want to continue to access that open throat sound. Ooh, right? And then we keep going down. And the lower we get, sometimes we get this sound. Ooh, right? Because people want to keep the intensity of the tone all the way down there. But if it's getting lower, the intensity of the tone sometimes can cause the falsetto to come in a little bit more and bring the breathiness into that. Ooh. Like if I tried to sing as loud as I can down here, ooh, I can't keep it together. But if I reduce the intensity, ooh, right, we keep that chord closure, the chest voice or the head mix or coordination in there. Then we can keep that mix in there, and it doesn't get blown out by the falsetto. Ooh. We want to keep the tone and the texture and the resonance the same from one sound to the next. Ooh. See how that stayed the same, as opposed to ooh. It's a pretty extreme example, but as you can see, the tone and the texture and the vowel and the resonance did not stay the same from one sound to the next. So as you're doing these exercises, keep doing that. Again, these are all exercises that, generally we do depending on, where the student is in the vocal progression. But these are voice building exercises, and now we're working on the falsetto and the head voice sort of sound. There's a couple more in there, but let's get to the chest voice, okay? So then we'll come back down a little lower. Ah. Now, let me talk about some of the things I hear sometimes. So this is a nice, clear chest voice. And notice how I'm always breathing in, right? The breath is the life of the voice, right? The lungs are the first step in the vocal chain, right? Ah, the chords come together. You sing the vowel ah. Ah. Generally, we have to drop the jaw. So these are some of the things I hear that are sometimes wrong about vocal chest voice. Now, why is that not optimal, right? Well, the jaw isn't dropped. We're not hearing the proper resonator in the throat. We sort of change the resonator to the mouth resonator. And as Reid says, the mouth is a poor resonator because it's full of just soft, fleshy material, and it's highly movable. The throat is properly suited for resonating because it is a relatively firm and relatively unmovable structure. Sometimes I think about a organ pipe, right? An organ pipe is unmovable. It's just a pipe, and these the physical acoustical properties allow the height and the width and the tone to resonate, in the laws of nature. That's another thing that Reid talks about, the physiological laws that are in your throat, like the muscles that are fully responsible for producing sound, the throat, the pharynx that's fully responsible for resonating the sound, and then the articulators, which allow us to say the proper vowels, consonants, things like that. That's the last sort of step in the chain. So sometimes I hear, oh, or what's the Kermit sound? Oh, right. What is that? Why is that incorrect? The tongue is kind of blocking the back of the throat, reducing the throat's and the pharyngeal ability to resonate properly. Sounds much more clear, right? If you're going to say, I'd like an avocado, please. Everybody understands what you're saying. Or mama, right? I've got a couple kids, so they said mama, right? That's very clear sound. But if we say mama, right, that's not a very clear sound. Or avocado. Generally, the vowels can be most clearly associated with speech. When we speak like I get it now. That's a very clear So it's sometimes difficult to incorporate this into singing because it seems like, okay, now I have to sing. Now I have to do something different than the laws of nature, right? I can do it better. That is not an right? Okay, so then we go chest voice All right, there's another great exercise that a great teacher, Chuck Schneider, introduced to me, and it's a whoa sound, and it's like when we're yelling, we're gonna go whoa, hold on, whoa, 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 right? So that's a very clear whoa sound, whoa, and then that can actually be brought up all the way up, to A flat, B flat, for many voices, basses, women belting those tones. They can go way up there. It's a ability to stretch and to strengthen the chest voice. Sometimes when people have a misalignment or a miscoordination of registers, that's an effective exercise for that as well. Okay, now let's go to another one. We're going to start blending some of these vowels together. So if I go back to the falsetto, like for men and women up here on F sharp. Ooh, remember, big breath. That was a little too light. Ooh. Okay. Ooh. That doesn't access the full range of these resonators and the muscles. Ooh. So we'll go ooh to ah. Let me go down a little bit here. Ooh. So ooh to ah. Again, we're trying to combine or not combine, but keep the texture and the resonance from the ooh into the ah. Ooh. I do this so I can hear myself a little bit better. That can be done. Sometimes I hear ooh. See how you hear those registers? That resonance a little different. Ooh. First of all, that's not a ooh. Ooh. Breathe in. Ooh. 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 Sometimes we'll do a detached oohs. Ooh. Let the chords come together. Sometimes it's called a glottal attack. Ooh. Ooh. Excuse me. And then we want to sort of morph that into the ah. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. Sometimes I'll hear ooh, ah. See how that's different, right? We want to continue to keep the same resonators. Let's keep going here. Okay, so here's another one for guys. Ooh. So this is a B natural. This is sometimes referred to as the first sort of break, but generally the break for everybody is between, somewhere in the vicinity, as Reid says, between E flat and F sharp up here, which I've found over multiple hundreds of students to be completely true and backed up by no difference between age or sex, right? Young guys, young girls, young boys, girls, and then senior women and men. Everybody has the same break here. Why is that? Because the chest goes all the way up to E flat, F sharp, maybe, and then the falsetto comes down below that as well. So there's a significant break there. That is the break. So our goal here is to try to, after the registers are properly strengthened in an isolated and separated way, then the goal is to combine them. And there's really no timeline here. Somebody that's never sung before could have a very properly coordinated sound. Their registers are pretty well blended and coordinated. But then somebody that's been studying for a long time could be sort of upside down due to a mixed up teaching or mixed up musculature. So the goal of the teacher is to really decide where the deficiencies lie and then incorporate that into the functional exercises that strengthen these muscles and allow the student to grow in their deficient manner. So that's what this ooh is here, right below middle C. Ooh. Sometimes I hear ooh, right? Again, for an exercising purpose. Ooh is a really good round ooh sort of coordinated sound, as opposed to ooh. Then we're kind of singing out of segment, as Franco would say. Ooh. Why is that out of segment? Well, you're kind of pulling a little bit too much chest voice into the ooh. An ooh is a falsetto vowel. Ooh. You can crescendo with that. Ooh. But crescendo with the darkness, within the proper segment, within the proper register, within the proper vowel, and within the proper resonators, right? So we have a lot of different moving parts here. Yeah, so that's just a little bit of concepts about, this kind of aural glossary. There's in Jonathan Yarrington's dissertation here on page 49, he closes with a quote of what Cornelius Reid talks about 60 years on the bench, and he gives Jonathan Yarrington, and I quote, Reid gives the following closing advice to both singer and teacher, and this is just a really great paragraph from page 327 of the Modern Singing Master. So Reid says, what have I learned as a teacher? That learning to sing and the teaching of singing at a high professional level are extremely difficult undertakings. Along the way, I have discovered that technical progress is not like walking up a gradual and smooth incline. The path is filled with bumps and bruises. complicated by the presence of technical and psychological blockages. Fortunately, it is also interspersed with a moment of joy and exultation. Because technical training is filled with ups and downs, the maintenance of one's equilibrium is difficult. An important lesson I have learned is to take these fluctuations with calmness and patience. The teaching of singing is a fascinating and difficult profession, one which is always intermingled with pain. If joy and a feeling of accomplishment are associated with progress, then what is thought to be a failure has a demoralizing effect. In recent years, I have managed to strike a reasonable balance between these two extremes. Teaching singing is an awesome responsibility, especially since one is dealing with others' hopes and aspirations. It is not a profession for those with a weak stomach. Growth is often painful, and learning how to sing is a challenging task. For both the teacher and the learner, the most important quality is to have patience. And I see this time and time again. Just have patience. Have patience. This is one of my biggest things too. I've heard sometimes that I can't find this quote. So if anybody can find it, but I think somewhere Reid says it takes 7 years to learn how to sing. Consider this any technical feat, right? Learning a language, learning a martial art, learning something that takes thousands of hours. These are patient building mountains to climb. And I'm a huge fan of Cornelius Reid, and he's an incredibly intelligent writer. His books are a joy to read, and I'm so glad that I found my path that brought me to him, and that I can understand and pass on some of these teachings to my students. So that's a little bit of my Tuesday, July 28th sermon about the aural differences between the registers and the textures and the resonations of that. So hope you enjoy it. I'm at www.bouldervoicelessons.com. My name's Joshua South, and I'm standing on the shoulders of giants here with my teachers and Cornelius Reid. So thanks, everybody. Subscribe, leave a comment, like the video if you like it, or dislike it if you don't like it. And we're here for you if you got any questions. Thanks.